Let's talk about weeds. Nearly 4 years ago, we decided to let the garden do what it wanted for many, many reasons. And one of them might have been that the lawnmower broke, and we just kind of went, okay. But we had been gradually leaving more and more of it alone with pollinators in mind. So it was kind of inevitable that we would just stop mowing. Annette Corkery then introduced us to the Acts of Restorative Kindness and the We Are the Ark organisation. That's wearetheark.org for anyone who wants to look it up. And finally, we could stick a sign up saying, we're leaving our garden alone on purpose. That's overgrown now, and that's what happens when you let nature go wild. I started to write down what was growing and researching what uses they have to wildlife and to us as well. And the first thing I noted was purple vetch. There was in abundance outside our sitting room window at the time. And now we have yellow vetch too. It buzzes for months with various insects, but the bumblebee seems particularly attracted to it. Did you know it was the first plant humans were supposed to have cultivated? You can make a flower from its peas, but they're just lovely to eat from the plant. Apparently we stopped cultivating it when we started having cattle, because they're particularly attracted to it and don't know when to stop. So when we grew large quantities, they broke into the area, ate it, got colic and died, and hence our first weed was born. We decided to no longer love it but hate it. It's not harmful in small doses, in fact it is good for the cow, but too much of anything. Dandelions are everywhere of course, and of course they seem to prefer growing in the cracks of the patio, which is infuriating, so it's not a bit of wonder they get bad press. Luckily we can eat them in salad and teas and they pull up easily from the root, so that sorts the patio ones out. Hoeing also gets rid of anger much better than spraying poison, which we have not let into our garden for years. Various pollinators hover over the dandelions and the hens are partial to them too. I always loved them. I even named a toy lion after them. This journey of rewilding is bringing back my childhood day by day. Did you know people used to clear the grass and plant dandelions because they have so many beneficial uses for us? One of the many plants nature gives us that we haven't appreciated in so long. Plantain grows in abundance in the garden. I'm so surprised to see it grow so tall. It is always so tiny on pathways and lawns that are mowed frequently that I completely forgot it could be so majestically pretty. It brought a vague memory of meadows into my foggy mind, so some time ago I did see it in all its glory. The leaves are great for cuts and for sucking out the badness of a sting or bite, and apparently the flower heads taste like mushrooms, but I haven't tried them so I can't verify. Sticky Mickey, or the nicer name my mother uses, Robin Run the Hedge, keeps trying to cover my older apple trees, and we have an annual fight, but he doesn't seem to mind and neither do I. Many happy memories of running after people sticking that on their back. It is also said to be useful for making a tea for the lymphatic system, and was often added to those little black bottle tonics people used to get from the healing woman on the hill or wherever she hung out. Cuckoo Flower, or lady smock, appeared this year to my delight and to the delight of the many more butterflies who reside here now. This delicate beauty reminds me of gathering wildflowers for the May altar, which was and still is a tradition of my mother and now me. Dock leaves are here too, though I've yet to see their stinging partner, the nettle. Luckily, plenty of those are in the field next door to make the 3 nettle portions before May Day. I often wondered why my mother was so angry about dock leaves and burned the dock leaf plants when she saw them, but I've read they're really bad to have near potatoes, so I'll have to keep that in mind when planting next year. And I think that might be just a residual memory within people about potatoes and dock leaves, which is very interesting. My memory of docks is rubbing it on the nettle stings, of which I got many over the years. Buttercups are making their way across the garden and I'm keeping an eye on them as they spread ferociously and might just take over. Do you remember putting a buttercup under your chin to see if you like butter? If they take over, I might have to get pigs. They have a graw for them, I'm told. They also have medicinal uses, such as for sciatica and blisters, but again, I'll have to research that. Selfheal also appeared lately, and that is so pretty and interesting to look at. It's loved by insects and myself. And again, there are many references to this being used for medicine. Hogwaite appeared, and at first I was very nervous to see that, but then I was noticing that it was standing near the house as if it was guarding us, and my imagination took a wander. I saw it being planted intentionally around a crawn as protection against intruders. Nonsense, of course, but it made me appreciate it more, much to the delight of the creatures who love it. There's always creatures who love the plants. There are many more weeds in my diary, and I'm enjoying the learning of their wonders and uses and the unlearning of destroying them with pointless mowing. The hens and the ducks have created a few little paths, along with the dog and the cat, through the many wonderful grasses that I have now, in between the weeds, the fruit bushes and the trees that I have planted. Our garden is home to many different butterflies, and we have dragonflies. We have had visits from pheasants and foxes, though now I have hens, I don't want those. We've had frogs and pygmy shrews, not to mention all the spiders, grasshoppers, crickets, woodlice, bees, and many more I haven't met yet. We think we also had a visit from a hare, so I'm dying to catch that on camera only. So that has to be installed too. These precious creatures are few and far between, and I'm never quite sure if they might not be one of the other crowd. I still can't believe our government lets hare coursing happen. The greatest joy this summer was meeting a newt. I do hope we get more. Such a delicate little beauty. It was a pleasure to make his acquaintance. Because we shed the need for lawn mowing, our life has become fuller and nearer to nature. Maybe you should join us. After all, lawns are a symbol of colonialism, invented by the rich to shove in the face of the poor that they took all the land from, and they didn't need to use it for food while our ancestors died on their tiny rented plot of rotting potatoes. So why would you want to celebrate that?